What is up, Eggy Wegg Nation? Welcome to the 11th episode of the podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful friend Henry. What's going on, dude?
Hell yeah.
For this episode, we have a little bit of a. I always
They
say
don't
this,
know
but
who
we.
you are though.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Dumbass.
My name is Massimo. I'm Mass M Swagga. Mass on all platforms. Stream my new album, guys. Okay, that's it. That's my
Oh
shameless
yeah,
self promo for the day.
stream the
The Night That Remains on all
the night that
platforms
remains.
on SoundCloud, Spotify, on Amazon. We'll
I
put
was gonna
the
get it right. I was just scared of not getting it right, but I would have.
it's all good. We can put
Yeah.
it on the screen so people will know. It's on the screen,
Yeah.
or that's actually too much work for you. We'll put it like in the description.
Unless I like put an image of like Island Boys
I
17.
look for 17. I want hair right now.
Oh, I
Um,
hear right now.
this is
I
actually
want
an
it
Island Boy.
so.
This is like an Island Boy type movie, to be honest. I mean,
Shut up. No, it's not.
they get ahead.
An
They get
Island
ahead
Boy
right
type
now.
island. Oh, true, but an Island Boy type movie would be like Grow House or something,
Yeah, true. Like a
featuring
Vine movie.
Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Doobie and Snoop Dogg as himself.
This is like an actual like movie, even though it's weird. It is an actual. It's
Yeah.
not Grow House, but the movie in question, or I guess OVA. Technically, it's like a 3 episode OVA, but like it's a feature length. It's like a feature length thing, and you can watch them all
Yeah.
as like one movie, so like it counts.
I think
But
not
the thing
including
is,
credits, not including credits, it's like 75 minutes. So
oh yeah,
it
that's
is
true.
feature length.
Yeah, it's pretty short. But the movie is Malice Doll. A very interesting title. It's by
Yep.
Taro from Super Smash Brothers. What?
Shut. We are.
Oh my
I'm
god.
taking that out.
From Super Smash Brothers.
No, I'm taking that out. He's a pedophile.
Yeah, I guess we can't put that one in.
Actually, I'm gonna keep that in. That's funny. I'm keeping it.
No one's gonna get it. Well, except the cool dudes, but they're the only ones watching anyway, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it.
The other people who are part of the channel are the only other people watching.
We're gonna understand.
Yeah, yeah.
So Keitaro Montanaga made this little interesting OVA. Director of School Days, infamous,
Yeah,
which
I'm
I can't
not familiar
believe.
with any of his other stuff, but it is written by. Don't know their name.
Chiaki Konada, I think, or Konaka.
Yeah.
I forget the last
Who
name.
also wrote Lane.
Yep.
Serial
So
Experiments Lane, specifically. Which
yeah.
we both love.
That shit's peak as fuck, and
Oh,
you can actually like really tell that he wrote it, in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah.
Especially when like with the ending and like the latter half of the movie, it's like really becomes really obvious, and there's a lot of like a lot of like some of like the themes that are in Lane and like some of the ideas that are in Lane, like I found in this movie, which is pretty cool. But I guess to give a rundown, since this movie is kind of like it's not that well known, and there's not a lot of like information about it out there. Just like as a basic plot rundown, it's about this robot sex doll named Malice. This takes place in like this like dystopian setting where like humanity has like basically like become extinct, and now these robots are like basically wandering in this like abandoned setting, like fulfilling out their tasks to like nobody basically, and
Yeah, kind of purposeless.
yeah, exactly. They're just like wandering about, kind of like doing whatever. And one day Malice starts leaking, like her body like starts leaking oil. So she goes to get repaired. Except she can't. Except she meets this like weird like moon creature thing. I don't even know like what to call it. I don't think it has a name. But it sexually
Qatar.
assault. Yeah, it's yeah, it's Nairobi, and he like forces himself. It forces himself on Malice, and basically after that, Malice turns into a human, and Malice is like, "Wow, this is great. I'm gonna start like kissing everyone else. It's time
God
to get
forbid.
freaky."
God forbid future employers find this video,
Yeah.
because
I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to explain it, dude. Uh, yeah. So she goes around kissing everyone, gets a little freaky, and it turns out that everyone being humans actually like isn't so good after all, and that everyone is turning into like these weird like Cronenberg type like abominations and freaks of nature. And then after that, Malice goes back to revisit the moon creature thing and becomes like her true self, her true form, flies away, and everybody returns back to becoming dolls, and that's where the movie ends. So kind of surreal, pretty wild. On
yep,
paper, it might sound kind of crazy, and like it's still crazy in the movie, but it flies over like pretty well, in my opinion. So yeah, um, I guess like we'll start with like the most like obvious thing that's like kind of makes this movie stand out, which is like the animation and how it looks. Um,
yeah,
so this is an animated movie. It doesn't
it's
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It doesn't look exactly like a traditional animated movie. It's 3D animation, but because of the era in which it was made, and also just like the general like aesthetic direction of the game, not the game, sorry. It could be
It
like a
can't, it
PS2.
can't have, it can't have been expensive
Yeah, no,
to
no, it
make.
wasn't. It was
It,
like pretty low budget.
I love it. It just looks like it looks like a PS1 FMV, but as a video game.
Yeah, yeah. No, like I accidentally called it a game earlier, but like that's it actually like it does look like a cutscene. And you might think, wow, that sounds fucking ass, but like no. Because it's like supposed to be like a disturbing movie and like it has horror elements to it. The fact that it looks like so uncanny, like really works in like its favor. It gives it like this really weird like grimy like dirty aesthetic that like really like makes this like uncanny shit like even more uncanny.
Mm.
It's like the animation's like super rigid, and this is actually like something they had to like work around with the technology at the time. There was like an interview with like the director and like the writer, and they were like, yeah, we like had to like to adapt to the rigid animation because like obviously with the way shit was like they couldn't really get a super fluid looking natural animation going, so they were just like, okay, let's make this around like robotic like dolls so that
Yeah,
like the animation being so stiff like would make sense.
and there are some
um
sections where like there's a bit at the end where Joe God, like his name sounds like a joke, but like Joe Admin,
yeah, yeah,
he's attacking that like fucked up like robot thing
yeah, yeah,
with like that like attack shit, and it's kind of like it's kind of like a sprite animation where he's kind of like it's like a still
yeah,
frame of him that's like kind of l- like launching like towards into the foreground, but like it works.
yeah, yeah. Like in a lot of other movies, like you could tell like despite it being restrained by technology at the time, a lot of like most of it was obviously like done intentionally.
Mm.
Like it's supposed to like a degree look like that, which is why it's aged like really well compared to some of the other stuff it was like being compared to at the time. Like for example, when it first came out, it was like competing with the like first like Final Fantasy movies in Japan. And
Oh,
obviously, like at that time, Malice Doll got fucking like swept by the Final Fantasy movies because like it's
yeah.
Final Fantasy. But like ironically
Yeah,
now,
because it's Final Fan. Even if it wasn't Final Fantasy, Malice Doll is still Malice Doll.
yeah, yeah,
So it
exactly.
still
Like
would
no
have been
matter what,
swept either way.
yeah, like it's not exactly like a super accessible movie, so it makes sense. It just had like all the cards stacked against it basically,
Mm.
which resulted in it getting like completely swept. But like ironically, now with like hindsight, Mouse Doll like visually has aged like way better than those movies because like
Mm.
those first Final Fantasy movies like those were like the very first ones. I forget which Final Fantasy movie it exactly was, but it like you can like the CGI in that movie, the 3D animation looks like super dated.
Do you mean like the
And
one from 2001? Because I'm aware of that one.
yeah, yeah, that one. I'm not sure what the title of it
It's
is,
called like
but
the Legend Begins or something dumb.
Yeah, some fucking
Something,
shit
something,
like that.
something stupid like that. It's got like Steve Buscemi in it or something.
Yeah. And that animation also looks uncanny, but like not in a good way. Like with this movie, it
Oh,
looks
it's
like
called The
just weird.
Spirits Within.
Yeah, the spirits
Oh
within.
god, I'm looking at it on Letterboxd. The banner is like horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, it's got Alec Baldwin, Boss Baby.
Boss Baby's in it. Oh
Yeah,
my
okay, Steve
god.
Buscemi is in it. Keith David.
Oh my god, it's a stacked
Yeah,
cast, dude.
Keith
Holy
David.
shit.
I know it's pretty,
Wow.
but I didn't just let it out for air. Oh shit, Donald Sutherland. That's crazy.
That's dope as fuck.
That's a crazy cast.
Yeah, yeah. Alec
Looks shit though,
Baldwin,
but
Boss
yeah,
Baby.
it's crazy.
I'd watch it just for the Boss Baby cameo, but that's about it. That's the only reason why you'd watch it.
I'm a boss baby. I'm the boss baby.
Boss Baby.
Boss baby. Little man.
No Boss Baby in this movie, unfortunately. But
No.
there is um Joe,
Yeah.
and he's pretty fucking awesome. He has cool wings, and he looks like a tin can.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, overall, the animation, I get why like it could turn some people off,
Yeah.
because like this thing isn't gonna like appeal to everyone. But like personally, I just like if you click with this like art style, you're gonna like really
It's
click with it.
it's already got a barrier just from the fact that just because of like the dark subject matter and the kind of the way it goes about things.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
on top of that, you've got this animation that just like depending on I think most people would say looks fucking disgusting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
Well,
I,
like
I we both love it, but yeah,
yeah, the vast majority of people would probably be like, what the fuck is this? If they're not like going into it and knowing what to like expect. Um,
it's that thing where it's like, I kind of use this movie as an example because it's kind of funny because it's like real very celebrated and loved, and I don't get it, but
yeah.
like something like Your Name looks very
Oh yeah.
expensive. It looks very expensive, and flashy, but but at the same time, it looks very boring.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Whereas like Malice Doll, yeah, it's cheap. It looks weird, and there are a lot of cut corners, but just the way it's used is very strong, and the
Yeah.
aesthetic really helps with the kind of story it's telling.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's way more interesting and looks more unique. Like I can't name like I could name like if I looked like a bunch of other anime movies that have a similar style to your name, but like there
Oh
is
yeah,
there is
there's like a
no
billion.
other there is no other film that looks like this one, at least from what I've like looked at and what I've tried to find. There isn't like many animated movies that look like Malice at Doll, and that's part of the reason why I like really like this movie a lot and like respect it a lot, because I do think it's genuinely like in terms of just like animation, it genuinely like is an achievement in my opinion, just because of how
Mm.
like unique and like one of a kind it is. So
Yeah,
yeah, that
if there
stuff is
if
really
there
cool.
ever is if there ever is another movie that looks like this, it will be because it was inspired by Malice Doll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, totally. I see where you're coming from. And like low key, that's something I feel like this type of style would be like more appealing to people now than it was like back
Oh
then,
yeah.
which is why I'm like kind of surprised that it hasn't like had a bigger sort of like resurgence, I guess. Like
I think some of it is to do with the fact that it's not really available anywhere.
yeah, that's the thing. There's
That's
like
another thing. I feel like just the way we both had to watch it was just from like an old YouTube upload,
yeah,
and it's like 480p, and like the YouTube compression is very very
not
bad,
good.
and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it was like just as a result, I kind of did have a bit of a worse experience watching it the second time.
Yeah.
Because the other time it was just like I watched on 9 anime. We
Yeah,
both did.
it was like
And
on streaming like a random like anime
Yeah, and
site.
it was like taken off.
Yeah,
But I think I'd really love. I would definitely want to watch it again if if there was a higher quality version available.
yeah, yeah. No, like it'll fucking never happen, like ever. But like a
Yeah.
re-release of this shit would be like fucking sick, dude. I'd like watch the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
out of that. That'd be cool.
that'd be
I'm not sh-
sick.
I'm not actually sure like how many different like releases there are of this. I know there was like a DVD release in the UK. That's one thing actually. This movie didn't do well in
Really,
Japan, but for some reason, like people in the UK like really liked it.
in the
So
UK specifically. What?
yeah, there was a lot of there was a lot of
It's
freaks in
like
the
that's
UK.
like the last. That's the exact last kind of movie
I know,
that I
but
think would go well. It's like the exact opposite kind of movie I
yeah,
think would do well in the UK.
yeah, I got
That's
like a
crazy.
fucking a DVD release there, and even
It's like
there,
Donnie
like
Darko.
yeah, but even there, like people didn't quite know how to like market it properly. Like you can tell, like on the DVD casing, there was like people literally describe it as a hentai, and they're like, "Bro,
Oh really?
you can go into this like so hard, bro,
Bro, you can
bro,
like goon to this,
you can
bro.
goon, bro." And like, sorry to
Gooning
disappoint
is
anyone out
lit.
there, but you can't really go into
It's
this.
not. It's not. No,
It's not
it's not.
very, it's not very goonable.
It's not. It's not titillating. Let's just say.
Yeah, and that was something I was worried about when I read the description for this movie. I'm like, oh god, I hope
Yeah.
like when I first read, it, I'm like, fuck, I hope they don't like try to make this like a ooh la la like sexy Nikki robots like thing, but like
Naked robots.
Nikki doll. But don't say it, don't think it, don't say it. Uh, but it actually like it's not like at least the impression I got, it's not genuinely like trying to make you feel a certain type of way like at all. It's not trying to make you bricked up or anything like that. All the scenes were like sex and like anything sexual in it just like fucking repulsed me. Like it was so
Oh
fucking
yeah.
it's just like oh it makes your fucking skin crawl. There's one scene with one of the dolls that like I'm sure you probably remember too. It's like one of the dolls are like strapped to like a horse and they're like
Oh yeah.
grinding they're grinding like
God.
they're grinding their pussy against like the horse and they're like there's a cross on it for some reason and it's like the most cursed shit you'll
Yeah, and
like
she's
ever
like,
see.
and it's like now I don't have to pretend to
Yeah.
feel pain, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's
Um,
like
it, what's funny is that okay. How I know you've been rereading Berserk, right? How
yeah.
how far have you got?
I just like finished like Golden Age. I'd
Oh,
finished like
okay.
Eclipse.
Don't
Yeah.
stop for a year again, by the way.
I'm
Try and
not.
read more of it. But
I
yeah,
know.
there's a bit in like the in the conviction arc that is like quite similar, and it's very like oh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
The
I'm not surprised it's Berserk, so
the bit that sticks out to me as being kind of viscerally repulsive is the bit where Malice is kind of having like when she's as a human when she's become a human she has like a flashback to her being used by like a human guy,
yo, yeah, yeah.
and the way it's like edited and it's
That's
like
so gross.
so yeah.
That's one of my favorite like scenes in the movie. I think it's
It's
great.
like it just like it's like even yeah it's like even though Malice was like it was just like at at that point was just like a robot.
Yeah.
Watching it feels like violating.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. And the way like the guy's like blacked out and he's just like a blob, it's like oh my
Yeah,
fuck. Yeah, it
and
looks so
like
fucking.
he like slices her cheek at the end, and it's like oh my god,
Yeah, he licked her
it's
feet
so
too.
it's
That shit was crazy.
yeah, and she licked his feet.
Yeah, they were licking each other's
Uh,
toes, bro.
shut up! I was gonna shut up. I was gonna talk about how uncomfortable that is, and you were like, "Bro, they're licking each
Bro,
other's toes."
bro, Tarantino, bro. Oh my god. Yeah. But no, that seems pretty cool.
What
One
Barney
thing.
buys? She buys fucking shit. I buy gourmet shit.
There's a dead doll in my garage.
You know, is there a sign outside my house which says "Dead Doll Storage"?
Storage. Yeah, so I think like I also think like the writing um prevents it from feeling like a bit like too like exploitative, I guess. I think like
Yeah,
in general the movie's like very like sympathetic towards like people and like sex work. That's like my main interpretation of the movie. There's like a bunch of different ways to interpret it. But it's
yeah,
supposed to I think it's supposed to be like an allegory for like sex work and how like some sex workers are like forced into that position when they don't want to and they're literally like treated like dolls.
yeah,
In the case of the movie, you know, they're like programmed and don't have any other choice. And you know, in the real world, well, some people like don't have a choice and they have to resort to sex work to get money, and it's fucked, and they don't want to do it. And there's this whole thing about identity and like your Malice feels as though like she's not a doll and that it doesn't what she's doing doesn't align with like her inner like self, which is why like she's so repulsed at the scene where like she sees like she recalls like her being a doll. Uh, which is like that's like the thing about this movie. I find like the last like 20 minutes of it like strangely kind of like emotionally like kind of touching, especially since like it's not really something you expect um, given like the first half. But I feel as though like when she kind of like comes into her own and like at least that's how I interpreted the ending. Like when she like gets into her final form or whatever, that's her like finally being able to like be her like true self. So there's a lot of like cool stuff about like identity in there. There's a bunch of different ways you can like pick it apart, but that was like the most like obvious one to me.
yeah. The way it's something that surprised me the first time I watched it. Like I don't know about you, but the way Joe Admin is like designed and set up, I really expected him to be kind of like an obstacle for the end of the film.
Yeah, no, he's
But
not
it
really
doesn't.
that.
But it doesn't. I love that it doesn't turn out that way, and that even though he is the most like cautious
Yeah,
out of
he's just
everyone, he
he's really
too
chill.
like has he too. Even though he has a very mechanical design, he is like deep down. He has like
Yeah, yeah.
his own struggles and his
No, I
own
agree.
feelings, and
No,
he
that
like
was
changes his mind
yeah,
like
yeah. No, he actually
near the
goes
end
through
as
like
well.
he goes through like a little arc in the movie. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
The other dolls don't have as much like stuff going on, but they're just cool to like a little bit of extra flavor. You know, like they're just kind of some of them are
yeah.
there just to show off like the really cool like body horror and shit like that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so that stuff is cool. Once you get to the ending, you really see like you're like yeah okay this guy wrote Lane like
Yeah,
yeah and like it becomes like super
because it don't
obvious.
make any sense.
It don't make sense, bruh. First time I watched it, I wasn't sure. Second time, like
I
I with
still don't
more
know.
yeah yeah like I don't know for sure either, but like with more watches, I've like understood a bit more, especially since the whole part with like her talking about like how all like at the end they're like oh all dolls have bodies like mine, which in my opinion was like a way to say like all like women can like become like their own person and like they don't really have to well some of them have to but like if they have the choice available to them they can become like something like greater I guess or they don't have to resort to like selling their bodies or being like objects for men which is like yeah, it's kind of like a nice message, and
Mm.
I didn't expect that at all. I'm not sure if that's what Keitaro intended when he made it, but you know, I think the guy who wrote Lane like knows what he's doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my interpretation of it. There's also like a big like I noticed on Letterboxd there's like a lot of like trans people who like related to this movie and saw like a trans like
Oh,
allegory
really?
in it. Yeah, yeah, and like I
Oh,
can
that's
kind of see
cool.
where
I
they're
had no
coming
idea
from.
about that.
Yeah, yeah. And like I can kind of see where they're coming from because again, it's the whole thing of like, oh, how you feel like on the inside not aligning with like your like real body type
Yeah.
thing. So like I get where that lens comes is like coming from too. So yeah, there's actually like a lot of like stuff to pick apart in this movie. I wouldn't say it's like a movie where like plot wise there's like a shit ton going on. There's a lot of just like freaky deaky shit going on and like people kissing each other and having the
Yeah.
sex. But
Have sex. Have
have
sex.
sex, have sex. It's kind of like it's kind of like a Cronenberg type thing where like the body horror is trying to like communicate some like bigger like idea about like the film. So it was really
Cronenberg
cool to
if he
see
wasn't
that.
mid.
Shut up, shut up. You gotta watch more
No,
Cronenberg stuff.
I do though,
You'd like
I
Naked
do.
Lunch.
Naked Lunch looks. No, I am gonna give just because you love it so much. I am gonna give Videodrome another chance at some point. Just when I
Yeah,
feel
who
like it.
knows? Maybe if you liked it, we'll do an Eggy Wegg on it someday in
Maybe.
the far future. But yeah,
Maybe if I like it though, because if I still don't like it, I'm not gonna. I
we're gonna
wouldn't
have
have any. I wouldn't have any. It's
nothing
the
to
kind
talk
of movie
about.
I wouldn't have anything to say about.
Yeah, it won't be like Southland
Just
Tales again.
off like first watch, my
Yeah,
opinion was just okay. That was alright. It was kind of boring.
that was easily one of the
I like the
movies.
special effects and like that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
that was
No, I feel you.
that was kind of my takeaway. And some bits were like ahead of its time.
Yeah, I feel like lukewarm about it. There's no point in it. It's not like
Yeah,
Southland Tales where like
yeah,
there's a
which
lot
is
to talk
like
about.
yeah. No matter how you feel about it, there's so much to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Anyways, we're not going to go on a 30-minute tangent about Richard Kelly again. But
no.
yeah. Oh
Although
yeah,
I will say the music is very Southland-esque.
I was
No, it's
about to
not.
mention that. I was about to mention that the music, not the Southland Tales part, but it does like this music's
It's
like
great.
yeah, it's really good, and it sucks because like I can't find it online like anywhere.
Yeah,
I can only find like the ending credits song,
yeah.
but I can't find like the actual music that was like made for the movie. Like I can't find anywhere,
That
which
end
kind of
credits
sucks.
really. I'm gonna be real. That end credits theme really does not fit.
Yeah,
Like
it's kind of
it
like
doesn't. It doesn't take any enjoyment for me out of the movie, but like it does not. It really doesn't fit at all for me.
I like the song, but like it is a weird choice for like the ending credits. I don't
Yeah.
know what motivated them to choose that one of all things, but I don't mind. I fuck with it. And the songs like in the movie are like really like atmospheric. They're
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
ambient. A lot of like cool bleeps and bloops going on. Yeah, I fucked with it a lot. It fits the movie like pretty perfectly.
Hmm. So, final thoughts. Cool movie. Very cool. Very unique. Uh, wish I could watch it in better quality. But
Yeah, me too.
for now, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Good score for me. Very freaky, very very not goonable. Nobody tried that at home. Pretty sick. One of my favorite animated movies. Uh, Gets better when I watch it every time. So yeah, I recommend it to anyone who likes this type of thing. If it seems like if you like obscure anime or obscure weird shit in general, check it out. And I'm giving it a big old 1-0. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh
Five big
yeah. So
stars.
wait, is that the only animated movie other than Silent Voice that you've got like a 10 for?
And I also have Angel's Egg and End of
Oh yeah, yeah.
Evangelion. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
okay,
two.
that makes sense. Yeah, it's just your one's like completely different from mine.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's the thing. We share a lot of like live action movies as tens, but when it comes to
But
like the
not
animated shit,
animation. Yeah, it's all yeah. I do need to rewatch Angel's Egg and End of Evangelion.
yeah, yeah. No, you should. I think
I'm probably not gonna rewatch the show for a while, but
yeah, yeah.
um um
You like the Angel's Egg a lot more now. I feel because it's been so long since you've seen it.
oh
Like you
yeah,
were,
so long.
I think you were just getting into like art house movies and stuff like
I was
that.
still tweaking.
You were still tweaking. You were
Yeah.
still in the Fish Islands era.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. Well,
So
that concludes this
yeah.
Eggy Wegg Malice Bros. Um, Eggy Wegg out. Be sure to kiss your loved ones and turn them into fucking abominable creatures.